Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast. I'm your host, Dom. With me, brand new face, my co-host, April. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. So, how nervous are you?
Super nervous.
Super nervous. That's great. Perfect. How long have you been watching Pretty Little Liars?
Since the beginning.
The very beginning. You started at season 1?
The very beginning, yes.
Did you read the books?
No, I always wanted to, but I just never actually did. I didn't want to ruin the end of, the series when it actually comes.
So from what I understand is they completely switch things up for the book. So
I mean, I have heard some of what was in the books, and it is definitely switched.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the books myself, so I know in the books Alison has a twin.
Right.
Where in this one it seems that it may be Jason's twin, but we don't even know if it's a twin. It seems like his brother at this point.
I like the twin theory.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
But the two boys don't exactly look like twins, though. They're distinguished. You could tell each one apart. Which one's Charles, which one's Jason. So I don't think they're twins, but I don't know. Do you think Andrew is because that was the big running theory through this episode? Is the police, everybody thinks Andrew's involved. Do you think Andrew is A?
I don't think so.
No, that's a common thing on the show. Is they like to switch it up on you at the last second.
Right. I think Charles has been running everything, but I mean, A comes out last minute every time as somebody else. So I mean, I'm probably wrong. I mean, let's be honest.
For all we know, there's probably an A team, like a network of people, but there's got to be one person in charge, and I do think Charles. I was gonna say Charles in charge, but that's a little ironic because of Tony Danza, but yeah. So Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Anyway, so I don't know. I was completely thrown off from it was the previous episode, not this one, season 6, episode 1, Game on Charles, but in the finale, Welcome to the Dollhouse for season 5, they're broadcasting on what's the Campbell Farm, and they go and we think they're there first and foremost, and the police bust through and they find a series of networks, and I'm just like, why was that even there in the first place? You have any theories whatsoever?
I really don't. I'm really lost onto what's going on with Campbell Farm. I'm actually really interested in knowing what you think of it.
See, I think it was planted intentionally to throw the police off. If you've ever seen the movie Saws, the Saw franchise,
yep.
In the second Saw, they did something very similar to that. They had a false broadcast where you thought it was coming from somewhere, and it really threw everything off. So I'm curious why the police haven't taken the live feed that they were supposedly getting and trying to trace the signal. They just abandoned everything there, or it could have been tapes for all we know. So,
right.
I don't know, but
maybe something will come out in a few episodes.
Yeah, I definitely think the Campbell Farm is going to play a big role in this season.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was mentioned a few times in this one. Allie led the police on a false chase back to there, again this episode, but I definitely think there's more to it. So
I agree.
We had the girls. We saw them this episode. Last episode they ran out. They made it outside. They were trapped behind the electric fence. They were too scared to go in. Ended up getting locked out. It's kind of like their punishment. Charles has been punishing, or I shouldn't even say Charles, but A is punishing them. So he locks them outside. They're left 2 days outside in the rain, night, whatever, cold. They're freezing.
Hungry,
very hungry. And I thought what was interesting was the whole Mona was like, oh, if you got to worry if you're not hungry or thirsty anymore, because that's when your body shuts down your organs. I never knew that. It's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah,
I didn't know you just lose sensation for hunger at some point, and that's your body shutting down. So that's kind of scary if I ever stop becoming hungry.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Next time you're stranded.
Yes, exactly. In case I'm doing the show on the Discovery Channel, Naked and Afraid, you know?
I was just watching that earlier.
Were you? Perfect.
I really was.
That show seems like it'd be a lot of fun. But at the same time,
I would not survive.
No, certain conditions, I don't know if I would make it, but yeah, other ones. So, I mean, the girls didn't really have it too rough. They were only out there for 2 days, not 30, you know, and they didn't have to go hiking a mile through, like, the swamp to get to their extraction point. Stuck. Yeah. But when they get back in, the alarm sounds, you know, Mona gets swept off. She gets taken to, like, the Silence of the Lambs, you know, kind of pit in the ground. Right. Which, that was really creepy. And Mona singing Hush Little Baby Mockingbird song to herself. That was really creepy.
I felt really bad for her.
I know. I don't know, Mona's been through quite a lot.
She really has. I think that's why she was taken for any of the other girls. Just she's more easily trained, so to say. Yeah. Because she's been there for, you know, a longer time.
I'm starting to, like, wonder... Like, is that even her real hair? I thought it was a wig at first, but the more I started, like, I mean, as an actress, I know it's a wig, but I mean, like, in terms of the show, like, is that supposed to be a wig, or did he, like, bleach her hair and, like?
I think he bleached her hair.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's supposed to resemble, at least.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, my phone. I forgot to mute it. Yeah, so... I don't know, Mona's, like, really creeped out. Then the girls wake up completely stripped of their clothing in the morgue, you know, or something, a room that looks like the morgue. What was the purpose of that? Is that, they said, oh, it's trying to scare their families. Do you think it was that?
I mean, that's what it looked like. I mean, since we haven't seen anything coming to the families, I think it was more to scare the girls into thinking that's what he was going to do, or she. We don't really know.
That's true. Yeah. It very well could have been that. I don't know if A was trying to scare them more or the families more, but I have a feeling that picture is going to come up again later. Like, if there was a picture taken, I feel like that's still going to come back to bite them.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But then right after the morgue scene, when it's like, oh, there's a surprise waiting for you in the rooms, they go in the rooms and you hear screaming. Mm-hmm. I want to know what the hell happened in that room.
I mean, at first I thought there was just going to be something crazy in the rooms, but I kind of feel like they were being tortured. Some of them.
Right, but if they were all being tortured simultaneously, how were they being tortured? Were there people in those rooms?
There's more people.
Right.
Right.
So, do you think the NAT team is going to come back and play into this?
You know, I mean, it's possible,
we
I really don't.
Heard from them
I don't
in a while.
think so. Mm-hmm. I think that may have played its course.
Yeah, it's possible. I know there was still one other person that has not been revealed from the NAT team, which looked very similar to Spencer's boyfriend guy thing, the painter from last season. He looked very. Okay. I forget his name. Is like Jimmy or something.
I think I remember you saying that to me.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, so he looked very similar to the guy in the NAT, but they were from the actor. I looked through the actors listing, and he was never credited as being on the show prior to that. So it could have just been a cameo that was uncredited back then, because that was early on in the season 1 or 2. I don't know, but I'm wondering if that person's ever going to come into play, or if that person was Charles. We don't know.
Yeah, you're very, very true. That could have been Charles. I am curious as to if we've seen Charles before.
Yeah.
And not realize we're seeing Charles.
We very well may have. And, you know, that's why I don't... If it was Jason, if Jason's a twin and there's 2 Jasons running around and interchanging, that explains a lot of Jason's moody behavior from the first couple seasons, because he was really weird and...
He was off and on, hot and cold.
And actually, which you may not remember, but in season 1, the actor for Jason was a completely different person. They just switched actors up on us in the middle of, like, between seasons 1 and 2, and everybody just let it slide, so.
Yeah, I never even noticed.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
So, they could go back and say that original actor was Charles, and I don't know. It's really weird.
Technically they could.
Yeah. Because I know other shows, Once Upon a Time actually just did that recently. They changed one of their characters out a couple seasons ago, and then they actually explained it just this last season, which completely blew my mind because I was never expecting an answer to that. So it's just crazy stuff like that. So if they do that with Jason, that would kind of be cool. But then they go to Allie's room for welcoming party or something like that, and they're going in there.
Okay,
and they're looking through, they're unpacking stuff, and they're like, oh, the real Allie is coming. They're preparing for the real Allie now. So I'm curious what A had planned for Mona if Allie came, like.
Well, you remember what they found in the closet, Arya, right?
Yep.
Didn't she discover that he's going to kill me? So I do think he was going to kill off Mona.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was no use for her anymore. She was his ally.
Right.
If he was going to have the real thing, why did he need the fake one?
Right.
But that also begs the question of why he kept around the other girl for that long.
Yeah. Sara Harvey or whatever.
Right, yeah.
We'll get to her. We'll save her for the very end.
Okay.
But, so the police have a plan to try to lure Andrew out, whatever. But Allie, Kayla, Ezra, and Toby have a plan of their own.
Right.
They get tracking equipment, and they stage this whole A thing in the house, and while they're on a wild goose chase within the house, Allie gets out. She puts on the tracker, changes all her clothes, whatever, and goes to where she sent the hidden message in the, by the rock, lost in the woods, whatever. I mean, I wouldn't have known that was a message, but apparently Andrew A would have
known.
Yeah, so
Allie A knows all.
Right, A knows everything, so yeah, I guess it makes sense. So Allie goes to the spot where they're supposed to meet, and there's a car left there for her. Right. She gets in the car, GPS is already set. Right,
yeah.
When she gets there, she decides, I don't want to be here anymore, and she hits the OnStar button, right? She calls for help.
Yeah.
She hears a voice, Allie, what you're looking for is in the trunk, or, something along those lines.
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember that.
The voice on there, I was like, that voice sounds really, really familiar to me. And I rewatched the episode, and it sounds just like Alison's father.
See, I didn't catch that at all. Right. I'm really wishing I was able to rewatch the episode like recently. Well, more recently than I did, and double check that. I wanna hear that again.
The speech pattern is identical, but the pitch is a little bit off. One is higher, one is lower.
Okay.
But you could easily change pitch on
right.
something.
Oh yeah.
But it's the same speech pattern. Like I swear it's the same person. So I'm curious now if
her dad is playing
I forget her. What's her father's name? I don't even remember.
I don't know. I'm really bad with names.
Yeah, so am I. I'm like the absolute worst. Yeah, so I think her father's involved.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some secret to tell anyways, even if he's not involved with the whole A thing. He's got to explain Charles.
Right. Yeah, and actually in the preview for next week, we get to see Alison confront him.
Yes.
So
I'm excited.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. This is supposed to be the summer of answers, so we're starting to get answers. We're getting more answers than we're getting questions, but we're still getting the questions, which is good because
they're never ending.
No, they're never going to, and even when this show is over,
they're gonna leave us with questions.
There's gonna be some questions. Like there's a long running joke that I've had on this podcast with the different people I've done it with is the lacrosse stick that they made such a big deal about a couple seasons ago.
Okay.
I still don't know what the point of that was. Like, what the hell was the point of that lacrosse stick? And then even more minor, last season, or maybe it was a season before, I don't even remember, Alison's mother got a dog out of nowhere, and the dog just, disappeared. And nobody's ever mentioned the dog again, so
Oh, okay.
I'm just
I didn't pick up on that one either.
Yeah, I mean, like, Tippy they brought back last season, the parrot. Like, we saw Tippy again, like, after he disappeared. So I want to know where the hell the dog went, and I want to know what the hell the lacrosse stick was for. And until I find those, this is not going to be the summer of answers until I know these things. I'm more concerned with that than what was in the barrel, you know? So.
If those questions get answered, I will be really surprised.
So would I. But those, to me, those are the burning questions. Like I said, more than who's in the barrel, what's in the barrel. Like, I don't even care anymore. But, so anyway, Allie goes into the trunk, and there's a note, you know, all kinds of stuff. She's got to change out of everything, all her clothing whatsoever, which means she's got to leave the tracker behind. Right. So at least she was resourceful enough to put the shoes in a direction that they could follow. So
that I did not expect that of her. Yeah. I was actually quite shocked. I mean, I know she's quite savvy and she's been on her own, but I don't know. Sometimes she does play the stupid blonde.
That is true. So, yeah, it was pretty clever of her. And I know when that was all going on, the police were reviewing surveillance footage, and that's when they got the partial plate and, you know, everything to track. But just before that, did you catch the news report that said the Radley Sanitarium permanently closed on the heels of unexpected sale? Did you catch that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, TV. So Radley is indefinitely closed now, which I don't know how that's going to play into part, because Radley seemed to be a big piece of this puzzle for a while.
That's going to be a big thing. Yeah. I mean, you would have to think that closing is going to be really big this season. It's going to have to be explained. There's a reason why.
And I think maybe A purchased it.
Okay.
So there could be some, you know, maybe that's going to be the new A quarters, or maybe the girls are going to get trapped in there, you know, again, or something. Right. Because, you know, and there was still the incident with Toby's mother. Like, that seemed to be a big deal, and then it got swept under the rug, and we're like, okay, what was the point of that?
Right.
So there's still a mystery around Radley, because it was, wasn't it Alison's father, too, that was trying to get them to stop, like, looking into it? Toby to stop looking into it?
Yes, I think so.
So,
I think you're right.
Yeah, so there's got to be more to it. And
oh, wait, no, wasn't it Spencer's father?
Yes, sorry, Spencer's father.
Yep. Okay.
So, I mean, I definitely think there's more to Radley, and I feel like
there definitely is. There's definitely still more answers.
I mean, Ren worked there. You know, Arya volunteered there. Toby's mother was there. Like, Mona was in there. Spencer was in there at one point. You know, so it's just like, this is a very central piece to everything. And if Charles was in there, because I know that in the books, Allie's twin was in Radley for a long period of time. So Charles may be tied to Radley, too, at some point, which definitely explains some of the psychotic behavior going on.
Right.
Yeah, so, but they figure out in this thing, you know, Spencer figured out that Charles is a De Laurentiis. And she even approaches Allie about it. Who's Charles De Laurentiis? And she's like, she didn't really know. So, like I said, next episode we see a preview where she's going to ask her father. So, really curious about that.
Yeah, so am I. I can't wait for that question to be answered. I've been wondering about that since last season, the end of last season when we saw that video.
Right. So the girls actually escaped, which I didn't think was going to happen in the very first episode. So
no, I wasn't expecting that. I thought they were going to have to stick it out there for a little bit longer than, you know, a full episode almost.
Yeah. They end up burning the whole place down. They're burning the footage.
Charles's belongings.
Yeah, they burned the film. You know, this seemed like, because we've seen this film twice now, they were looking at it. It seemed like one of Charles's prized possessions, you know, and he's got this whole room dedicated to, like, all these things.
Childhood.
Yeah, he's just a very sentimental person in general, because we also found out this episode, a lot of the items the girls were missing ended up in their dollhouse rooms.
Right, they ended up discovering later, yes.
Yeah, because, what was it, Emily was like, I thought I lost this forever ago. It was here the whole, you know, like, he must have been doing this for a while. So, you know, Charles has been playing the long con, and, or A's been playing the long con, and he's a very, very patient person, and you know.
Oh, yeah, very patient.
That is a serious person to be messing with, because at this point, everything that's been going on may be exactly what he had planned, you know.
He's been one step ahead of everybody, so you're very right.
Yeah.
I mean, you would like to think that it's the end and that, these girls aren't going to be tortured anymore, but that wouldn't make a good show, let's be honest.
No, absolutely not. What are they going to do? And it's okay, it's Andrew. They arrest him and then that's it? They live the next 2 seasons happy? No, that's not good TV.
No.
So there's got to be more to it. So they burn the place down. That's the smoke and all that is what gets Ezra, Caleb, and Allie to find them.
Right.
Open the door, come out, police, all this stuff. Police go back in and reveal Sara Harvey.
Yes.
Right.
We saw her earlier in the episode, though.
We did. We saw her at the beginning of the episode. She had tally marks on the walls, counting how long she's been in there. She even fed them. She put food through the door at one point, which they're like, Mona? But it wasn't Mona. Mona was in the pit at the time.
Right.
So, there's that. But, she says her name's Sara Harvey. And we were first mentioned Sara Harvey, I believe it was season 4. I think it was the mid-season, second half of season 4.
I know it was a couple seasons ago for sure.
Yeah, and, all her friends went looking for her, and, she's a popular girl, and, it was basically the Allie story all over again.
Right.
But there was also another girl at the time that was killed or missing or something along those lines, Bethany Young.
Yes, okay.
So, do you think that this is actually Sara Harvey, or is it Bethany Young pretending to be Sara Harvey?
It very well could be. I just don't feel like it is.
No?
I feel like the Bethany thing might have been gone, but I don't know. You're usually one step ahead of me, like A.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, that this Bethany or Sarah or whoever she is, could be planted by A. Like, if you're familiar with the Saw movies, you knew at one point there was one of the characters was working from the inside,
right,
playing the whole time. And if that's not Bethany or Sarah, I still think I discussed it with you. I've talked about it on this podcast before. I still think it's Arya, if I have to go with somebody working on the inside.
I can't believe it's Arya. I just can't.
You don't want to believe it's Arya.
I don't. You're right. I don't. It's a little bit. I would be disappointed.
There's just so many clues, and
I know
Arya was the first one that woke up in the morgue, and it's like, why was she the first one to wake up, and then she subsequently woke the others up from that. Just everything is a little too coincidental with her. There's a episode where she's drawing an A, on the train.
Right.
And it's just like, there's just way too much stuff that adds up. And the A she drew, she wrote Arya. And the A-R-I looked fine, but it was that last A that had the classic A look to it. Yeah. And it was
I know, you've made your argument before with me. And I mean, every time you make it, it sounds good, and then I'm just like, I can't believe it would be Arya.
I know I had you really on the ball for it. You were like, okay, I believe you now. It's Arya.
I was ready. And then when it wasn't, I was like, oh man, Dom was wrong.
But was I? We don't know.
No, I'm going with you were wrong.
Okay. All right.
Just to make myself feel a little bit better.
All right, you stand by those words and you can eat them later.
You can eat them.
Oh, okay then. Do you have anything else for this episode that I may have missed?
Not that I can think of, no.
All right, next episode. I forgot the title of it, but I'll find the title in a second. The synopsis for next week says the girls have gotten out of the dollhouse, but what happened to them during their time of captivity has lasting effects. With worried loved ones trying to watch over them, the Pretty Little Liars are home and trying to heal with not much success. Even with suspected tormentor Andrew in custody, Arya, Emily, Hannah, and Spencer fear they are far from safe. Meanwhile, Alison must deal with her past indiscretions and her notoriety around Rosewood. And the episode is called Songs of Innocence.
Okay.
So
I can't wait.
Apparently, Andrew's going to be in custody, so I think with Andrew in custody, A may back off for a little while.
But what?
To make it seem like Andrew is actually the one, and just buy himself some time.
A little bit of time.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. He probably is. I'm just wondering how'd he get out? I mean, I know he's got, obviously a ton of things, but I'm just, where'd he go? How'd he escape? I'm hoping they give us some sort of a hint next episode of where he is, at least.
Yeah. Well, because there was multiple tunnels. We didn't see everything in there, so the entrance they came out of was not even the same entrance that they were locked in for the beginning of the episode. So there's 2 different exits that
Right. I mean, I know that there's a ton of tunnels and everything. There was fire. You were hoping that he was going to be there.
Right. A's always got a backup plan.
He does, unfortunately.
Yep. All right, so that does it. You can find me down below at Phenomedom, PHENOMEDOM. You could also find us all on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts or for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week. See you guys later. See, that wasn't so bad for a first episode, was it?
No, it wasn't too bad. I survived.
I told you, it's nothing.
Okay.